Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, مَا كَانَ اللَّهُ لِيَذَرَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ عَلَى مَا أَنْتُمْ عَلَيْهِ حَتَّى يَمِيزَ الْخَبِيثَ مِنَ الطَّيِّبِ. Allah would not just leave the believers mixed there with the rest of the people until He separates the pure from the wicked. This happened before, and it will happen now again. Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu ta'ala anhu told us to take a lesson from history as it repeats itself. And he says, استعن بما كان على ما لم يكن فإن الأمور اشتباه. Seek aid, a lesson from that which was for that which has yet to be. The past for the future, for the matters are very resembling. Don't think anything will ever happen to you that has not already happened in humanity. We're all the same, made from the same ingredients. We have the same emotions running through us, the same thoughts pumping through our minds and our hearts. History always repeats itself. But few are those that take a lesson from that. Look back. When the Prophet ﷺ entered Medina, he made a pact, an agreement with the Jews of Medina to live and cooperate together in one state. And if there would be an attack, they would protect together their homeland, even if they differ on religious orientation. And then in the 5th year after Hijrah, after many complications, there occurred what you know as the Battle of Al-Ahzab, the Confederates, or Al-Khandaq, another name for it, the Battle of the Trench. When the Jews of Medina, and the Muslims had not yet known of this, had invited the pagan Arabs of Quraysh from Mecca, and the neighboring Arab from the tribes around them, Ghatafan, 10,000 strong to march towards Medina to wipe out Muhammad and the Muslims once and for all. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So the Muslims could not bear to withstand such numbers. So they said the best way to fight them is to impede them from fighting us. So they went to the outskirts, the Muslims of Medina, and they dug a trench, hence it was called the Battle of the Trench. So that the army could not come in, they could not proceed into Medina. Where the Muslims are, then behind them in their homes are their women and their children. And they did this. When they got in and began digging those trenches, they were locked into those trenches. They could not get up for the enemy was in front of them. And if they stayed down, as what happened, they were dying of hunger and starving. And then in the middle of all that, the test gets doubled. They realize that back there in their houses with their women and their children are the Jews of Medina, and they were the ones that invited them in the first place. I mean, there's treachery here. So if I sit, my family dies. And if I get up, I die. What a test. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about this, إِذْ زَاغَتِ الْأَبْصَارُ وَبَلَغَتِ الْقُلُوبُ الْحَنَاجِرَ وَتَظُنُّونَ بِاللَّهِ الظُّنُونَ. At that moment, when the eyes went blurry, when you're so scared you can't see straight, and he says, وَبَلَغَتِ الْقُلُوبُ الْحَنَاجِرَ, and the hearts reached the throats. Meaning what? Meaning I was so scared, I felt like I was choking. I couldn't breathe anymore. And people began to assume things about Allah. Allah says, هُنَالِكَ, at that moment, that realization that came to them, the whole world is against them, and there's nothing they can do. Allah says, هُنَالِكَ بِتُلِيَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ وَزُلْزِلُوا زِلْزَالًا شَدِيدًا. At that moment, the believers were shaken to the core and tested. Shaken severely with a test. You know what the wisdom of the fitna is? As we said, when the pressure keeps squeezing and squeezing and it gets tighter and tighter and tighter, everyone's true colors come out. This is what Allah told us. Go back to Surah Al-Ahzab. Allah Azza wa Jal says, and when the hypocrites and those that had diseases in their hearts, they said, all that Allah and His Messenger promised us, it was all a lie. Even some of the narrations mention, one of the hypocrites raised his voice in the trench and he said, Muhammad told us we're going to have Rome and Persia, and one of us can't even get up to use the bathroom right now. A'udhu billah. And that same pressure had the complete opposite effect on the believers. Allah Azza wa Jal says, and when the believers saw the Confederates, they saw the whole world teamed up against them, they said, This is what Allah and His Messenger promised. They said the whole world will turn their back on us. They said it would happen. And Allah and His Messenger spoke the truth. Here it is. And it only increased them, Allah says, in faith and in submission. Meaning, Allah and His Messenger said that it would be all on one. And that's true. That means everything else is true. Of victory and triumph and end game. So the fitna made their true colors come out as well. It increased them in Iman.